Hey everybody, Robert Milligan here again. And it's about 3:52 Sunday afternoon, just in the basement hanging out again. Figured I'd get on here and throw some more bricks at the devil. I thought I'd just talk a little bit today about something that happened to me. I guess it was last year. I went over to Waltonville, a little town that's about 5 miles away from where I live at, to get some gas for the lawnmower. And I was driving a van at the time, and I went over there and to get gas. And on my way back home, I seen a truck sitting on the side of the road, and so I pulled over to see if I could help them. And they were pulling some type of a lift like you'd rent to cut branches out of trees. So anyway, I pulled in there and I asked these guys if I could help them, and they had a flat tire and they couldn't get the tire changed. And he kept trying to get the spare tire off the back of the truck, and it was one of them kind of the tires up underneath there in the back. It was a Ford, I believe. But anyway, he couldn't get it off of there, and I was like, well, I said, I'll do you a favor. I said, I'm going to go take this van home, and I said, and I'll get my pickup, and I'll come back, and I'll pull that thing to town for you, because he had it was only so many more minutes to get it there before he got charged for another day. So anyway, I went back home, and I got my pickup truck, and I went back and pulled in there, and I think he was surprised to see me. He probably thought, man, this guy's full of baloney. But I went back and I got him, and we unhooked that thing and hooked it up to my truck, and I pulled it to Mount Vernon for him. And I told him I was going to try and help him, change his tire. And so we got back there, and on the way to town, well, anyway, I forgot the first part of the story was I passed the guy up to begin with, and I crossed over the Big Bunny River Bridge, and I heard the Lord say, he said, if you want a blessing, you got to be a blessing. And I was like, what? And so I just kept driving, and I heard it again. He said, if you want a blessing, you got to be a blessing. And so that's when I stopped and turned around and went back and asked the people if I could help them. But anyway, we were on our way back from Mount Vernon, and we came to Nason. And the man had mentioned something about a Mandela effect. I don't even know didn't know at the time what it was. But anyway, I was trying to kind of squeeze in, about Jesus in there. And I didn't really know how to get it out, I don't know, just wasn't real bold. And I was just trying to figure out a way to talk about God to him, because I felt the Lord wanted me to do that. And so we ended up going back to my garage and getting a floor jack and some 4-ways. And we got back there, and we finally got the tire off the truck, or finally got the spare tire down. And we could not break the lug nuts loose on the front tire of this truck. And we kept trying and trying. And we put the 4-ways on there, and we stood on them, and they were actually bending the 4-ways. And the lug nuts weren't breaking loose. It was just bending the tools I had. So I was like, what in the world is going on? So we couldn't do it. So I ended up taking the guy back to Waltonville. We went to a buddy of mine has a mechanic shop there, and I was asking him, I said, man, do you have anything we can take the wheels off this truck with? I was telling him what we were doing, and he said, man, if you're bending the 4-ways, he said, I ain't got nothing that's going to take them off. I was going to see if we had an electric impact or something we could use, or cordless impact. And so then I remembered one of my cousins had one, and so we came all the way back to Nason again, and this guy was like, I think he was kind of freaked out that somebody was actually trying to help him like this. But anyway, we went back to Nason again, and we borrowed the impact from one of my cousins, and we went back over to my garage to get maybe a big wrench or something. I don't remember what I was getting, or the sockets for the wheels, the big sockets, impact sockets. And finally I had an opening, and I got to tell the guy all about Jesus. I told him who Jesus was, and how he came to earth and was born of a virgin, and he was flesh, and he lived a sinless life, and they killed him and crucified him on a cross, and how he rose again from the dead. And when he got crucified, how the veil in the temple was torn from the top to the bottom, so we didn't have to go into the old system, the old temple, the old ways, where you used to have to go in and sacrifice the animals, and nobody could go in and talk to God. There was a big veil in between man and God. Or in between man and God, where only a priest could go in one day a year to the Holy of Holies and put blood on the Ark of the Covenant. on the mercy seat, there was two cherubims that sit on top of this ark, and that's where the Spirit of God would come down. But anyway, men used to have to go use priests and all that stuff and to make sacrifices for their own sins. But when Jesus died on the cross, the veil was torn from the top to the bottom, and I got all that out and was explaining it to him and how we didn't have to, why we didn't have to do that anymore, and how all that was. And he was just like in shock, I think, that I told him all that stuff. And anyway, after I got that out, because I knew God wanted me to do that, we went back to that truck, and you could have took the lug nuts off with your fingers. They were so loose. It's crazy. But what it was, God was wanting me to tell that man about him. And who knows? I don't know if he'd ever heard it before or if he ever will hear it again. I don't know. But I knew that day God wanted me to tell him about it. And just like he wanted me to get on here and tell you guys about it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting on here and just trying to encourage people to look to God and explain to people that God is real, and the whole Old Testament, all that old temple stuff. And like I talked about the last video with the snake on the pole, how they held that up and they looked upon it, and it was, they were healed. And that's the same thing today. We got to look upon Jesus and look to him for our healing, look to him for our deliverance, look to him for everything. And it's just what we got to do. And I don't know. You just got to try and stay encouraged. You got to stay in the Word and pray every day, man, and just believe it. And I'm telling you, it's life changing. Things will happen for you. God will bless you, and it might not be a big monetary blessing with money and all that stuff, but you will be blessed. I'm telling you, you'll feel it in your spirit and your soul. You'll just know it. But anyway, I love you guys, and stay encouraged.